Hello everyone, constitutionalist libertarian here. And in this video today we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Wall Street Journal that was updated on July 14th. Trump appeals latest travel ban ruling. Federal judge in Hawaii orders loosening of rules governing family members. What gets me is this was already ruled on by the United States Supreme Court. They said there was no problem with them going by those familial ties on the note of who can come into the country. Yet, a federal judge in Hawaii thinks that they have more power on the note of who's higher on the totem pole than the Supreme Court, which is very offensive. Constitution clearly lays out where powers lie, yet this stupid fuck in Hawaii thinks that he's better and knows more than the United States Supreme Court. This article is written by Brent Kendall and Laura Meckler. Washington. The Justice Department moved quickly on Friday to appeal a federal judge's latest ruling trimming President Donald Trump's temporary travel ban, while the administration is separately laying the groundwork for new and broader restrictions. Which, of course, this judge in Hawaii, I'm sure, will throw their 2 cents in. And the irony of this is that Hawaii keeps going up against the president and his travel ban. And they have no horse in this race. They haven't taken in one refugee. I mean, to me, if you want to house a bunch of refugees in Hawaii, I got no problem if the ones that are from those areas that you have an issue with him putting the travel ban on, we can send them straight to Hawaii. From there, you know, I mean, because they actually went into court to the federal judge and said, look, this will affect refugees. Well, how many refugees have you taken in Hawaii? Well, none. Then there's the fact that they said it would affect their tourism. That it would actually have an effect on their tourism. How many tourists have they had from any of these countries? None. That was another argument they made in the federal court. Judge then ruled, okay, yeah, and tried to stop President Trump. It goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court rules. Goes back, and Hawaii's like, yeah, we didn't like the ruling. And then you have this. Literally. I mean, come on now. The Supreme Court ruled, deal with it. This judge should be removed from the bench. And I mean that. I mean, when you literally defy the United States Supreme Court, you do not deserve the privilege to serve the community as a member of the bench. You don't. The latest chapter in the fast-moving saga began Thursday evening in Honolulu, where U.S. District Judge Derek Watson ruled that the Trump administration's recent implementation of its ban contradicted the interim rules put in place by the Supreme Court on June 26th. No! It didn't! Because these were the same familial ties that needed to be made for people to be coming in. So, it's already past the sniff test. The Supreme Court said that you can restrict on the note of family. End of story. So, Your Honor, or I should say honorless, Watson, go fuck yourself. That's right, dude. I said go fuck yourself. I mean, you really think that you're going to get away with this? Well, considering the Supreme Court has swung back the way towards the conservatives with the note of Gorsuch going in and being there to get, take care of the seat that's been left open, you're fucked. You keep getting slapped down. Just bow out. Because guess what? Trump's going to treat you like he treated fucking CNN. And someone's going to make a meme, and then Hawaii's going to go and try to dox someone now? Because I'm guessing that's what's going to happen with the way that you're not liking the fact that shit don't go your way. If someone were to do something that pissed you off in a meme, someone in the state like the Attorney General going to do that? Actually try to dox someone? I mean, that's the way the left works. And I'm sure there'll be memes once you get slapped down again. Mr. Trump's restrictions, which cited terrorism concerns, imposed a 90-day ban on travelers from 6 Muslim-majority countries, while also suspending the admission of refugees temporarily. Last month's Supreme Court decision allowed the GOP president to enforce the ban against people with no ties to the U.S., but not against people who have close connections or family to institutions, connections to family or institutions in the U.S. Right! What Hawaii wants is basically your brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, roommates, uncles, basically the fucking thing from Spaceballs is what they want. So, to me, parents, siblings, children, that's immediate family. That's perfectly acceptable. And the close thing with the close ties to institutions, okay? Meaning, if you have a skill, for example, and a company wants to sponsor you to come here, and you're from one of those countries, you pass a background check, you're more than welcome here. If your parents or your siblings or children, etc., are in this country, yeah, you can come here from those areas. Pass a background check. But this isn't good enough for Hawaii. I love how the Wall Street Journal is now gonna fucking twist this. Mr. Trump's administration took a narrow reading of who qualified for the Supreme Court's exemption to the ban, but Judge Watson, an appointee of Trump's Democratic predecessor, Barack Obama, ruled Thursday that the government must admit a broader class of people than it wanted. That includes extended family members like grandparents, aunts, and uncles, as well as a wider class of refugees. Whoa. See, this is complete bullshit, because the federal government, on the note of familial ties, has used the definition of immediate family to be your parents, siblings, children. Not your aunts, your uncles, or your fucking second cousin twice removed. This shit was not intended as part of that. So, see, this is what gets me, is they completely lie and slant this shit. You two who wrote this, you're fucking sleazeballs. Because when the federal government has used the term immediate family, and immediate family is your immediate family, I mean, anyone in this country has a concept of that for the most part. It's their household type idea, like in general, like your parent, if you're your parents or your children or whatever. Aunts and uncles is your extended family. Okay? Your grandparents become extended family as your parents get together and have their own family. That's how it works. That's the definition. Deal with it. But no, Hawaii, this judge and these fucking lying fucks, they can't deal with it. You're all butthurt. The Supreme Court is just going to slap this down. And this wider class of refugee. No. That goes against what the Supreme Court actually ruled. By saying a wider class of refugee, you're now trying to say, well, what the Supreme Court approved for the grounds for refugee isn't wide enough. That's exactly what you're fucking saying as a federal judge, and you're below the Supreme Court. And for you idiots in the Wall Street Journal to push this narrative and not think that someone like me is going to easily show how full of shit you are by using common sense and fact, goes to show how fucking pathetic you are. I hope you assholes see the same type of shit go on that the New York Times is dealing with, and there's a forced mass exodus of fucking employees there when you're printing shit like this. The judge found that Trump's administration's restrictive view of who counts as close family represents the antithesis of common sense. The administration said its approach was grounded solely in how close family relationships are defined in portions of federal immigration law. Exactly. Fucking A. The judge found, ignoring said immigration law, that the restrictive view of who counts as close family represents the antithesis of common sense. Obviously, when you have none like this fucking judge, you're gonna think that. Holy fucking shit. To try to make Trump look bad, to try to make our president look bad, gotta throw that common sense thing in there, to try to make him and the administration look bad. When you're lacking fucking common sense, considering that immigration law fucking says what immediate family is. You're a fucking moron. The same with the two idiots who wrote this piece of shit article. The Supreme Court is already set to give the case full consideration in October, but the Justice Department signaled Friday it wanted to block Judge Watson's ruling before then. Well, of course, because we're talking July, it's halfway through the month. You'd have a half a month, then August, September, and October. And I'm not going to think the 1st of October when they're going to be ruling on this shit. So you're looking at several months, which is just going to leave our borders and refugees coming in from these regions, a situation that's going to escalate. And what gets me is after these same refugees, because we're going to end up taking in the unaccompanied, because Obama took a bunch of these unaccompanied fucking children in that are like 30 fucking years old. There's actually a really good video that Angry Foreigner put out regarding this in Sweden. And we don't want to end up like Sweden, where you have 30-year-old men posing as kids raping 12-year-old girls. That's what will happen here. That's what's happening in Germany and other countries in Europe. It's happening in Sweden. Sweden's the rape capital of the West. It was the rape capital of, Europe. It's now the West, and I believe it's like second to what? South Africa? Some shit like that. So, the thing is that's what's going to happen. So, of course, he doesn't want to wait until October, and neither does the president's administration. The department filed an immediate appeal in a West Coast appeals court on Friday night. Also filed new papers with the Supreme Court seeking intervention by the justices, arguing the Hawaii's judge ruling would severely impair the implement of the travel ban. Exactly! It contradicts their fucking ruling. So hopefully the Supreme Court, because, the West Coast Appeals Court, I'm guessing is Ninth Circuit, the Ninth Circus, they'll just fucking go along with Hawaii. They will. So hopefully the Supreme Court steps in, because this is complete fucking horseshit. You lost, you stupid fucks. Deal with it. Why do you want to make us like fucking Europe? Do you seriously want some sick fuck walking into a concert and blowing up a bunch of people at the show? If so, no offense, I hope they do it in fucking Hawaii. Because it's shitbags like you in Hawaii that if, because of you, you stop this and people are allowed to come in and they fucking cause a terrorist attack and they came in on with you fucking putting a halt to the fucking ban. It's on you. All of you. Anyone who's involved trying to stop it. Anyone who said it needs to be stopped. An attack like that happens, it's all on all of you. Every single one of you. It's fucking disgusting. You're all fucking disgusting people. To put the safety of this country at risk for globalist fucking ideals that bring in a group of people whose ideologies conflict with not only the West in general, but everything this fucking country was founded on, like free speech, equality. Okay, you know, not only equality of the races, but a gender, and you have these people come in that are going to be like, oh yeah, they don't fucking want it. I mean, there have been cases where there was actually people caught in U.S. cities acting like, you know, wearing uniforms, acting like they were police, and they were being Sharia police in neighborhoods. And it'll only escalate from there. The Supreme Court has had to correct this lower court once, and we will now reluctantly return directly to the Supreme Court to again vindicate the rule of law and execute and the executive branch's duty to protect the nation, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said. Exactly. The High Court is on a 3-month summer break, and some justices are traveling, but it is possible the court could act on the Justice Department's request before it returns for its new term in October. That'd be a good thing. Hopefully they can, because this is ridiculous. See, this is why Hawaii did what they did. They knew that this federal judge knew that the Supreme Court was out until October. So he's figuring he can fucking throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing and tie it up until at least October. He's a fucking scumbag. The Attorney General in Hawaii, who's been pushing this shit, fucking scumbag. The governor of Hawaii, who's allowing him to be doing that shit, scumbag. You're all fucking sleazy scumbags, and I hope the shit, if it ever happens, heaven forbid, with the note of Islamic extremism, happens in Hawaii. Because it would be poetic fucking justice, and it would be fucking karma. And I don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm just saying, okay, being someone from New England who watched the Boston Marathon bombing happen or unfold. I didn't watch it personally, like there type thing, but I watched it unfold living here in New England. That's the type of shit that we could end up seeing happen without protecting our borders and controlling the flow of people into our country. Want proof of it? You've got what's going on in Sweden, what happened in Copenhagen, what's happened in Germany with the trucks and other attacks, and what's happened in the UK. All of that is proof of what would happen here if we don't control our borders. Apart from the court battle, administration officials said the government is considering expanding the ban geographically, setting its sights on countries beyond the 6 now targeted. Iran, got no problem with that. Libya, after what Hillary and Obama did on the note of throwing Gaddafi, I got no fucking problem with that at all. Somalia, fuck no, no problem at all. Sudan, damn straight, should be on the list. Syria, fucking right. And Yemen, you better believe it. All of these countries foster terrorism. They have Islamic extremism. These are not people that we want coming into our country. At least not until we can properly vet every single person. It's common freaking sense. In addition to restricting travel, Mr. Trump's March executive order called for a global review of every country to assess whether each is providing the U.S. with information needed to vet their citizens seeking to travel here. Yeah, I got no problem with that. And the reason why I got no problem with that is because a lot of those countries in Europe aren't going to give accurate fucking intelligence. And you want to know why? Because they're going to want us to take in people that we shouldn't be taking in. The same types of people that they've taken in. The rapists and the murderers and the fucking criminals and the robbers. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're going to have some people that are actually looking to better their lives. But if you look at what's going on in Europe, it's not a lot of them. It really isn't. It's single men coming to collect free shit. That's why Sweden and the UK are two popular places. Because they give out a lot of free shit. Those that don't meet the new U.S. standards could be subjected to travel restrictions like those imposed on the 6 nations singled out in the current order, administration officials said. Fine by me. This week, the Department of Homeland Security sent a report to the White House that included a list of countries that have been preliminarily assessed as not providing adequate information, as well as those at risk of not providing it. Which I'm sure, if you get the list, I bet Germany's on it. Good possibility. Merkel really don't like the fact that she don't have her globalist little pig buddy, fucking Obama. I'd say, you know, Sweden might be another one. Just look at the fucking cultural and national suicide they're committing by letting in the mass immigration they are. A U.S. official said 17 countries were flagged through details, though details about their status weren't available. Under the new standards, under consideration, that's a fucking, oh my God. You're writing for the Wall Street Journal, and you don't know how to use fucking proper punctuation. Your editor is an editor, or a proofreader, or whatever the hell you got checking your shit, because I don't know if an editor's got time to read this shit these days. Well, actually, the circulation's down. You never know. But the thing is it should be under the new standards, comma, under consideration, comma, because it doesn't flow right. Under the new standards, under consideration. Each country would have to issue electronic passports or have plans to do so, and regularly report lost and stolen passports to Interpol, an international policing organization, according to administration officials. Good! That'll stop the fucking counterfeiting that's going on. I mean, I can walk in, like in Syria, into a bazaar and fucking get a fake fucking passport. Okay, I can walk in to a fucking bazaar in any of those fucking countries on the list and get a fake fucking passport. And I can go to Europe and go, oh, I'm an underage, you know, unaccompanied minor. Probably get a bunch of free shit. Because I've got a fucking passport, you know. Get a good tan on the way so that I'm dark enough to get away with it. Fucking A, I collect free shit. I mean, I'm not that type of person, but I'm just saying. I could do that. We don't want that happening here in the U.S. In addition, every nation will require to share information with the U.S. about suspected terrorists. Good. Share information about their citizens' criminal backgrounds and histories. Fucking awesome. And provide information about identity documents they issue to the U.S. to help officials better identify frauds. Also very fucking good. I got no problems with that. That's common sense. That's how it should be. I'm sure the United States provides shit like that. We've always been good like that. Why shouldn't other nations reciprocate? Got no problem with it. Nations would also have to assure they aren't Okay, nations would have to assure they aren't terrorist havens and agree to take back citizens if they are deported from the U.S. Okay, so a nation has to basically make sure that they don't have terrorism running rampant in their country. Okay, that's fine. Take them back, even if they don't take them back. Send them fucking back. Not our problem. If they're a fucking terrorist, I don't care where they go. They can go to Guantanamo Bay, fucking drop them off at their fucking country. I don't give a shit. Okay? They land at their fucking airport. It's their fucking problem, not ours. You throw him on a fucking plane. He gets off there at the airport. If they don't take him back, he's like that fucking character Tom Hanks played in the friggin' movie where he was living in the airport. Not our problem. Fuck him and fuck them. If they don't want to work with us, fuck it. Screw them. We got to stop worrying about upsetting people and worry about ourselves. Because we worry too much about everyone else around the world and their feelings and we ignore reality in our own country. We've got children who are going to bed hungry in our own fucking country. We've got families that are like adult, whole families where that's the case. I mean, just to bring the wider scope, because those children who are going without dinner, their parents are going without dinner. You got Americans in this country busting their asses, okay, having to deal with the fact that the Clintons helped turn this country into a service-fucking-based country, as opposed to, and helped destroy manufacturing in it. And they're barely scraping by. Let's worry about our own shit before we go worry about other shit. Let's worry about protecting our people on the note of, like, worrying about other people's shit. Let's worry about protecting our people on that note. The money that it takes to bring in those refugees, we can help more refugees in the Middle East with that money than we can here. Makes more sense. Worry about ourselves and take care of them in their own country. Administration officials and other experts said it was clear from the start that many nations would be unable or unwilling to meet these standards, including potentially all 6 of the countries targeted in the current executive order. Well, of course! When you have 17 countries, I'm sure a few of them are European, if they're not willing to comply, it's just because it's fuck Trump and fuck the U.S. You're not going to pull the weight of the globalism fucking thing. Fuck you. Some of those countries, Middle Eastern, I'm sure, their systems are fucked up, and in part, like with Iraq and Afghanistan, we helped to create the situation they're in with not being able to comply. That's our own fucking fault for what we did. Especially with Iraq. I mean, at least Afghanistan, we had a purpose for going in there. Iraq was all bullshit. It was all smoke and mirrors. A State Department cable outlining the new standards advises embassies to alert foreign governments that non-compliance could mean their citizens won't be able to travel to the U.S. Good by me. I got no problems with that. Because if they can't let us know if their people are terrorists, mass murderers, criminals, whatever, those people, we shouldn't be letting their citizens just show up at our doorstep. I mean, hell, are you gonna let's look at it this way. Perfect analogy. Perfect stranger shows up at your door. By all appearances, opening the door might not be a good idea unless you know who the person is. For example, you get a very scary individual at your front door. They claim they're a cop. You just going to open the door and let them in? They don't look the part. Or you're going to ask to see ID. You're going to ask to see proof of who they are. You're going to ask to, of course you're going to do that. You're going to ask to see who the fuck they are and prove it, have them prove it. That's all we're asking here. It's common fucking sense. I mean, this is our home. You don't open the door to every Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry. Why? Because every Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry can have someone in there that can rob you, fucking assault you, murder you, whatever, rape you. That's a fact of life. And these people on the left that are about these open borders and all that stupid fucking shit, this globalism shit, they don't realize this because that would mean you'd have to put reality and facts over your feelings. And for a lot of people, that's hard to do. I mean, we have to get to a point in society where we go, okay, yes, these things might not seem pleasant. Even though they're not pleasant, they're a fact of life. They are part of our reality. And when you have a religion, a supposed religion of peace, which is proven it is not one, you can't keep turning the other cheek. Okay? Before the Crusades, which were not the Christians attacking the Muslims without a reason, Muslims had ransacked Europe, not once, including Rome. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Oh, we're even going further than 4. 6 fucking times. Okay? And the Pope, he sat there and went, they keep coming and stealing shit. You know, I keep turning cheeks. Why do they keep coming back? You know, I figure they take what they want, they leave, they never come back. And someone finally went to the Pope and said, look, we're looking like complete punk bitches. The Muslims think that they can just roll in here and take shit, which they have been, because you've stopped us from retaliating 6 times. You've told us, turn the other cheek. Even after we ran out of cheeks, you told us to turn them 2 more times, because we turned our cheeks on our face, we turned our cheeks on our ass, and we still got attacked twice after that. And I finally snapped some sense into the Pope. I should say popes, because this happened over an extended period, and it was more than one pope. And the Pope finally turned around, the current sitting Pope, and said, all right, we got to show them that we've had enough. And the Crusades began on that note. It wasn't about any other thing than showing them to stop invading Europe, raping and pillaging and taking people into slavery. That was what the Crusades were about. And they don't teach that anymore. When I was in school, they taught that. Now, it's the big bad white Christians went and attacked the Muslims for nothing. And kids learn this shit, this indoctrination. And they don't realize that this supposed religion of peace for thousands of years has been one of war and slavery and impoverishing people, you know, putting people into impoverishment and destroying lives. And so they don't understand this. And then when you have, oh, well, look at these poor little refugees and they're unaccompanied refugee minors, and they're 30 fucking years old, and they're not showing us here on the mainstream news. Oh yeah, look at this fucking unaccompanied minor who's like my age in his 40s, you know? He's fucking bald. He's going, oh yeah, I'm 17. 17, I love America. Free shit. I mean, so you just got to look at it this way. Common sense, but no one wants to do that. An administration official said that embassies will inform their host countries where they stand in the review and what information, if any, is missing to meet the new requirements. I'm wondering what European nations are not going to comply. I'm going to bet Sweden, Germany, maybe the United Kingdom. It's just a feeling. I got a feeling the ones that have had the worst shit happen to them are going to be the ones that have been so beat down and so abused that they're now enablers. At least the governments. The prospect of a broader travel ban has long been a concern of those challenging Mr. Trump's. No, President Trump. See, this is the fucking propaganda fucking bullshit. Because the Russian narrative, we're trying to fucking impeach him and get him out of office. Mr. Trump's. No, it's President Trumps. Deal with that. President. You can say it. President Trump. Come on. I know you two weasels can do it. To those challenging President Trump's travel restrictions in court, civil rights groups and advocates for immigrants and refugees have alleged the president, which, by the way, you're referring, it's a proper noun. You capitalized it for Obama, capitalize it for him. It's a proper fucking noun. So you little weasel fucks, you do this type of disrespectful shit because you think that people aren't going to notice that, oh, it's a lowercase in their subconscious mind. Will. It's a proper noun. You capitalized it for Obama all the fucking times in the Wall Street Journal that you talked about him. Why don't you do that for President Trump, not Mr. Trump? Oh, that's right, because you're going to slant the fucking news, because you're fake fucking news. This shit right here is proof of you being fake fucking news. You know, I gave you more credit than the New York Times, but reading this shit, you're on the same playing field. Because, all right, civil rights groups and advocates for immigrants and refugees have alleged the president was seeking, I have to just read this again, seeking to make good on his support during the presidential campaign for a Muslim ban. He never said an all-out Muslim ban, number one. But they try to make it sound like that. Number two, do you think if there was a Muslim ban in Europe, you would have any of the shit that's gone on there? If you tell me yes, anyone out there, I will call you a fucking liar or full of shit to your face, depending on who you are. Because either you're just completely dishonest and then you're a fucking liar, or you've been programmed with propaganda and you're full of shit because you've been filled with it by someone else. It's not your own shit that you're spewing, it's someone else's shit. So, here's the thing. What they don't want to tell you is these civil rights groups and advocates for quote-unquote immigrants, they're there for illegals, not actual immigrants. Why? Because actual immigrants don't need a civil rights group or advocates because they've came here legally. The refugees that they just want to openly bring in haven't been properly vetted, but fuck it, we'll risk it. And they got no problem with that. That's what's fucked up. Mr. Trump has rejected the allegation, saying his intention is to keep dangerous people off U.S. soil. Exactly. That's his whole fucking point with this. You know, why can't you just be fucking honest, Wall Street Journal, and you two fucking shipwreck writers? Huh? How hard would that be? The implementation of a new, broader ban would likely spark an entirely new round of litigation. Not really. If it follows the same exact guidelines and what was set forth in the ruling of the Supreme Court, it'll be perfectly fine. But you guys want to make it sound like, oh yeah, there's going to be this big controversy. I mean, what's the controversy? We have a state government that has no race, no horse in the race, a federal judge who overstepped his power, and that's about it right now. Because when you have Hawaii going, oh yeah, this will affect us, this will affect people here, and they haven't taken in a refugee or had any fucking tourists from these countries, the judge should have dismissed right there. They have no reason to be bringing what they are in front of that judge when that's the case. Now, that should have been that with it. But no, this judge, being the the legislating from the bench, Obama-appointed piece of fucking shit that doesn't respect the Constitution and uses it to wipe his ass, he decided the Supreme Court don't mean shit. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. I have more power than the Supreme Court. Fuck you and fuck all of them. And we need for this to be reined in. And I hope that the Supreme Court, before October, when they come back, actually does something about this. Anyways, this is the Constitutionalist Libertarian. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe. And definitely don't forget to check the little box by the bell to make sure you get notified of all my latest videos. Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.